I hope you clicked on this video thinking that we were definitely going to talk about Paris because that's exactly what this video is about. You may think it's about movies and books, which it also is, but ultimately we're here to discuss Paris because that's really what all these three pieces of media are really, truly about. So let's start off talking about the most popular piece of media about Paris. And it's obviously the movie Inception, the one directed by Christopher Nolan. He made Memento, but then he was like, no, that was almost too realistic. We need to kind of, get a little bit more abstract. And so he decides to create this movie, which is so purely about Paris. I don't even know how it could be mistaken to be anything else. I know on the surface, it looks like it's about like dreams, and some people might even call it about like control or something silly. But really, I mean, deep down, you and I both know it's about Paris. And now this is a part where like everyone gets this wrong. Everyone thinks that Leonardo DiCaprio is the main character. And it's so funny because even Christopher Nolan was just like playing this massive joke by putting Leo on like the cover or like whatever, the poster. Is that what I'm going for? Yeah, the poster of this movie, front and center. But both, like him, me, and you know that it is Marion Cotillard. I'm definitely butchering her name. It's the girl that plays Moll, okay? It's Cobb's wife. That's who is the main character. And I'm about to blow this movie for you guys if you haven't seen it, which honestly, if you haven't seen it, I'm not sure where you've been living the past, 20 years or so. My gosh, when did this movie come out? Yeah, wow, it came out in 2010. Wow. It's been 16 years since that movie came out. Crazy. Anyway, Moll is the main character, and everything about Moll screams Paris. Like, if Paris were embodied in a woman, it would be her. The way she walks, the way she dresses, the way she even assaults Cobb with every single glare. Oh, I love it. It is so Parisian. She smiles only sarcastically. That woman doesn't even know how to convey true feelings like a true Parisian. And all of their dreams and settings where Moll is present is in Paris. I know you can't argue with me because Inception is about Paris. You could say what you want, but I know you know that Inception is about Moll, who is Paris in a female body. Yeah. The real story, the real scoop of Inception is that the whole story that we've been watching is actually not true at all. Moll's version of the story is reality. I firmly believe this 100% of the time. Every time I rewatch it, I'm like, I love that Cobb is just telling her to trust in him, that they have whatever they say, before they decide to off themselves, right? But really, Moll begs the question being like, well, what if I'm right? And you know what, Cobb, what if a woman is right? Would you give her the space for that? And I guess he won't, because there's only one other woman, which is in the movie, who is Ariadne. And we all saw how that ended. So clearly that woman, she's like the antithesis of Moll. She's everything that Paris is not. She is wood. Yeah, that is the opposite of Paris, I think. So anyway, a lot of you are going to come for me. I can already feel it, but you know what? This is the truth, all right? And the moment you accept it, you'll know deep down that Inception, while on the surface, it might seem that it's about other things, it's really a Paris movie, okay? That's what it is. It's about Paris. And after Inception, tell me that you did not want to go to Paris, to go see the bridge, to go walk the walks through the entire, little maze where Cobb and Ariadne make the little fruits explode. Tell me you didn't want to do that. You did. Yeah, that's right. You don't even have to confirm it because I already know. So let's move on to my next lovely find. I wasn't even looking for anything about Paris, but man, all of these little works just hit me like a Mack truck this year. I have to admit, I did watch Inception a little bit earlier. It may have been around the 2017 era, but like such a solid movie, you know? And I knew then, I was like, man, it is about Paris. But earlier this year, I read Finding Grace by Loretta Rothschild, and this is a lesser known book, I'll admit. It's a debut author. But, you know, she did such a great job with it, you know? And again, just like Inception, on the surface, it might look like it's about finding grace or about a love story, or, which again, so Parisian, okay? If love is not Paris, I don't know what is. But yeah, it might look like all these things, but deep down, it's about Paris. It really is. It starts off, and let me tell you, this book has one of the most banger first chapters that I've ever read. Like, seriously. I dare you to pick this book up, and if you put this book down after the first chapter, honestly, you're a psychopath. I don't even know. I would be afraid of you, legitimately. But I dare you to just to go read this book, only the first chapter, and I want to see if you're able to put it down. You know, I just want to see. That's all. If you can, please come back and comment here so that I know you're a psychopath. So anyway, circling back to the point to the heart of the matter, which is, how is this book about Paris, you ask? Honestly, everything about it is Parisian. Honor, who is one of the main characters, loves to recite a poem, obviously in French, because why would a Paris book not be about a poem in French, right? She loves her little Ritz-Carlton hotel in Paris, okay? She loves her little perfumery in Paris. She loves red wine, and so that's kind of how you come to meet Grace, who is trying to be a sommelier, and she has her little wine shop. And again, it's just so Paris. It's dripping with Paris. And you could kind of think that like, oh, like Tom, the main character, meets these women in different cities and whatnot, but it's not even about the city, right? It's about the vibes. It's about the women who are Paris and what all they're into. I can't even explain to you how Paris this book is until you guys just pick it up, all right? Just trust me, just pick it up. And if your book club needs a book, this is a great one, okay? And just like most romantic books, don't think too hard, okay? There's definitely moments where therapy would have been a good choice throughout this book, but those are boring bits that Loretta didn't want to include in the book. And she's got to keep up this breakneck pace that she's set for this book. So don't question her. Just read it, okay? Let the book happen to you. And let the Paris vibes take you away. And tell me after this you don't want to smoke a cigarette on the terrace like Maul does before she jumps, all right? Tell me you don't want that, because I know you'd be a liar. And that brings me to my third piece of work, all right? Now this is a nonfiction because, you know, I just had to go rogue on you guys. It's called The Art Thief. And it's about this art thief, aptly named. The thief's real name, because it is, you know, a nonfiction. The thief is Stéphane Breitwieser. Try saying that three times faster. Anyway, so Stéphane Breitwieser is this French artist. Sorry, he's not an artist. He steals art. My bad. I almost credited him with something, but whatever. He's a French art thief. He's also apparently an author. He didn't write this book. This book was written by Michael Finkel. And I guess they both, Michael Finkel interviewed him in his, in various multiple locations, actually. And he was even part of one of the thefts, not originally, but yeah, I guess Michael didn't know that the heist was happening around him. And I'm just like, man, you call yourself a journalist or like an author and you can't like, but you're writing a book about an art thief. What did you think was going to happen? Like, did you think that he was going to buy you donuts? No, he's going to steal art, especially when you walk into a museum. Come on now. Anyway, more on that later. Actually, no, that's it. That's all there is. There's nothing more about that. So circling back to Stéphane Breitwieser, and he's a man, so there's nothing really Paris about him, except for all of the art that he stole, all right? And now he apparently stole somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 some art pieces, and these include paintings, sculptures, stolen rifles, pistols, dishes, everything. And the best thing about it is that he was broke the whole time. He could have sold this art, but that would have been disrespectful to the art, okay? And so he had this very big moral quandary of he couldn't exactly stop stealing the art because that would be ludicrous. And he wanted to hide it in the attic because, he can't afford a place by himself. He's broke, remember? So he lives with his mom in her attic. The mom swears that she didn't know what was happening in the attic as he was squirreling away 200 some art pieces. And he lived up there with his girlfriend. And it's so adorable because a lot of the times, like, they would steal together and it was this romantic thing that they would kind of embark upon. It was their hobby together, You know how like mom and dad sometimes will have children that make them mom and dad, and it's because bringing up the child becomes the glue that keeps mom and dad together. Well, the art theft was the glue that kept Breitwieser together with his girlfriend. It was really cute, and it's Breitwieser, and the girlfriend's last name is Klein-Klaus, which I don't know if you don't see humor in that, but I do. They're just so adorable. And that is what makes this Parisian, okay? That's the Paris part, is that all of this like thieving around and everything is just a long, sordid love story. And if that's not Paris, my God, I don't know what is, And it's just brilliant because at one point, Breitwieser does get caught, because like, how else would we find out about the story, right? So he gets caught, and there's a moment where he could like rat out his girlfriend, but he lets her live her best life, He really does. He like doesn't rat her out. The mom doesn't rat her out, and the girlfriend turns around and dumps him. She just dumps him like a sack of potatoes. And that, my friends, that tragedy is quintessential Paris. There's nothing happy that comes out of Paris, like never, It's always like a tragic love story that comes out. It would have been even better if one of them had died, but unfortunately, both of them are living currently a very long life, it seems. And no one knows if Breitwieser is still stealing. He apparently still lives in France, somewhere small, still broke, and he probably still owes some parking tickets to the Swiss government. And the Swiss aren't very good about forgetting those things, So anyway, I would recommend everyone have a weekend in Paris and enjoy these 3 works of art, and let me know what you guys think, all right? Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me and talking about Paris. Really enjoyed this, and good night.